Hello everyone, Argsy here. Welcome back to the Canadian Cattle Farmer here in Chilliwack, British Columbia. We are carrying on with the work we started last time, which is the maize harvest, corn harvest, to make our maize silage. We've moved down here, we're at field 195, down next to our cow barn, and we're going to carry on and move into this field and get this one all done. Of course, this is all going to be going into the silage bagger, which we got set up last time. So we've got the two workers down here, you can see sitting up in there. They are both running on auto drive. Got a little bit of a course, and we're going to jump into the forage harvester to start things off, and we're going to spend a little bit of time on that. Now, the way I've got things set up at the moment, the two tractors are just going to head back to the harvest or load point, and once we've got them both full up, we're going to just head back on over to the yard, and then we're going to get them set up, hopefully on an auto drive course, which will take them past the bagger and be able to unload into that, which should mean we're able to carry on and get this all done in one go, which would be fantastic. Now, the other thing we're going to try and get done today is we do want to get in and start some of that tillage in the other fields, maybe get the cornfield ploughed, but I also want to make the use of the manure spreader while we still have that, the big slurry spreader, and possibly try and get some slurry put onto those fields first. So a few things we're going to do. We'll see how far we get through that. If we don't get it all done this time, we'll certainly have plenty of time to do that next time we are here. So let's jump up here into the forage harvester, get things all unfolded. We'll probably find the tractor's going to react to us when we do this, because it's going to be looking for a path, but there we go. Get that out. There we go, it has reacted because it knows we're here. Hopefully that means it'll turn around and get into a good spot to follow us. Now, I did have a look at a course play course on this, and as you could imagine and expect, it did not want to work very well, because this field has this awkward little throat here just on the end of the field, so it didn't want to do anything very practically. But there we go, that is all done. It'd be nice for a change though, to be sitting here in the forager and follow along with that instead of spending time with the forage wagons, but I'm sure it'll change over once we get far enough past. There we go, it's gone, found the one we want it to be in. So let's just go ahead, get in and get some of this field opened up, and then we'll be able to get down and get that auto drive course set up. Alright, there we go. So we haven't quite made it halfway around, I don't think, and we've got two full trailers. So we're just going to turn this off for now, leave that sitting there, and we're going to jump out and head on back over to the yard. Go and see how things are looking over there. Let him go and do his thing through the middle of the crop. So one downside to auto drive, it does negate and ignore the crop sometimes, but anyhow, let's head on back over and see if we can get this auto drive set up for the bagger. How's that for timing? We've just tabbed over here and found the New Holland, and they're only just getting pulled into the yard, so we could probably have, I don't know, 5 wagons running a course around this field, and we'd be able to keep up with it with no issues, particularly considering how long it takes for these wagons to unload. So we're going to have quite a bit of downtime in between deliveries and wagon loads to be able to get over here and get the slurry spread and some of the other work done. So I'm just going to turn this off and stop the auto drive, because we don't need to go any further. We turn this on. What I'm going to do is we're going to bring it up here, and we're obviously on a course which heads down to the left, but I'm actually going to create a new one from here. It goes more down the centre of the aisle, because at the moment it hugs quite a way to the left, which is what we wanted originally before we had the feedlot and everything like that, but we don't actually have one that works in a way that we can navigate and kind of drive down the middle here and leave equipment like the wheel loader, like you can see there, parked off to the edge. So I'm going to head straight down, get to a point down here. We will link back up into this one because it's already there, so we'll stop about there. Now we do get one more waypoint, which is good. Link those two together. There we go. Now we'll stop recording. And now it's the tricky part, because I'm just thinking we do want to do quite a tight turn here, so I think we might come around a little bit. We'll start our recording again here, and then this will be a good spot to be able to whip around to the right, get hard over here against the trees, because what I want to be able to do is have a straight course, because we're actually going to have to change this 3 or 4 times through the course of the work, because as we move the silage bagger over, it is going to head on across this grass area, and we'll have to go and adjust that. So let's just bring this down in here as close as we can to that. Hopefully that's close enough to unload. Now, from my past experience, turn that on. Yes, we do get a trigger. Let's make sure that's going to work into there. Yes it is. Right, so with that working, we can carry on our course, and we actually want to spin this one around to the right, and we're going to hook it back up here on the course to head back out through the yard. Like that. And there we go. If we pinch that one to there, that's all done. Now, last thing to do, we need to come over here and tell the tractor where it needs to be going to, so we'll give it a target around about here. We'll probably do. That looks like it'll be far enough past. We're going to call that bagger, call it silage bag 01, and go OK, and then that becomes our change, and we want to go to there for our unload. So if that's all going to work, we should now be able to bring this over here right about this point, press play, and see if it's going to go and unload for us. We're going to push that forward so it goes to the bag. It was going to try and go to the field, so we'll get that turned off and we'll just watch and see what happens. Fingers crossed we're going to get unloaded into the bagger. Now I do need to remember to go and turn the John Deere on too, so that the bagger is working and pumping that silage into the bag. So let's just wait and see what happens as we get up here a little bit closer. Hopefully there's no collision on the bag. I'm not sure if there is or not. We'll find out in just a minute. Particularly looking at that turn, we've probably cut the corner a little bit too much, but we do need to be nice and straight. So the anticipation as we drive along here slowly and carefully. You can see the auto drive staff are cautious with our equipment, but no collision there, or at least we're far enough away from the bagger that it's not going to get hit or anything like that, and we have managed to pick up that trigger. So we should see, if we spin around here, should see our silage, it's going into the bagger. Use your imagination. So, jump up in here into the John Deere, get that powered up. Here we go. And we should now see our bag growing as it fills up with silage. And there you go, you can see that slowly moving along as it gets more and more silage into it. So, I think everything's working. We'll now be able to go and find the other John Deere, set it on the same course, and wait until everything's all emptied and back over to the other yard. And here is that tractor just pulling in as well, so we'll change where it needs to be going, which is the harvest store, so we might just stop that for a second. Leave it on the field 195 because that's where we wanted, but it was this one we needed to change, silage bagger 1. So we'll turn that on there, and that should be all good to carry on and going. We will just keep a little bit of an eye on it for just a minute, but I don't see why it won't go to where we want it to. So we did just have one little issue, and that was it wanted to turn down the harvest store lane where the feed wagon there is parked, the truck, instead of heading all the way down to the end. And we've just fixed that by creating that as a side road. So you can see that the lines there heading to the harvest store are now yellow. And it's simply done by holding down left shift and clicking on a node, and that will change it to a side road, which means your vehicles won't go down it unless it's absolutely necessary. So with that done, we'll just turn everything off. We don't need to see that anymore, and it looks like this tractor's going to get into the right spot. I did see the New Holland in the background is heading out and back over to the other field, so that is good to see as well. But let's just make sure that this one can turn in and get into the right spot. Alright, moment of truth. Let's see if this is going to work. Now, for anyone else who's trying to use these pieces of equipment with the combination, I've discovered that you actually have to tell it to manually unload the wagon into the bagger. It didn't detect it the first time around. I turned off auto drive, I told it to manually discharge, and then it detected the trigger, and now we're in the position where it's dumping into the bag, and we're growing our silage bag even further. So I'm not sure what that is, but it seems every time you do it, it is something that you're going to have to do, so bear that in mind if you're trying to use a similar setup to me. Anyhow, here we go, that's all up and running. So we'll let that carry on unloading, and we will head on over this way. What I'm just thinking about what we're going to do, let's just take a very quick look. We've got the manure spreader there, slurry spreader, and we do have big versatile. Now that's about our only tractor we've got which can haul that, so we might actually have to look to hook that up to this. Now I'm just wondering, do we need a PTO, because this does not have one? Does this run off a PTO or hydraulics? It does run off a PTO, so that's going to stop that. We can't actually use the versatile. We're going to have to wait till the T8's finished, and we can use that because, well, as you can see, there's no PTO on the back of this, only the hydraulics. So that puts a dampener on that. I guess we're going to be heading back over to the other farm, get into the forager and just wait for these wagons to both get back. So back over here, we've got the New Holland there racing in behind us, and we're going to get straight back into harvesting here. So there we go, that has all worked out pretty well. Just missing a couple, just move over a little bit. So things seem to be set up and running now. Looking at the capacity before we left, I just had a quick look at the volume in the bagger, and we are going to have to get over and change the bag very, very soon, which means re-recording the auto drive course and creating a second bagger route, because it does need to go down there, but we're just going to try and stop there. Seems that the tractor wants to push along behind when we're in this position, which makes it a little bit difficult, but nothing we can't handle. And there we go, get that into position, let the tractor figure out its way. It seems to always want to do sort of this weird sort of 360 circle and turn rather than just navigate its way into here, so we'll see what happens. Probably get stuck in a tree or something like that, but hopefully it can figure it out and we can carry on going. Well, we finally made it past the pain of opening the field up here. It was a little bit of a struggle. Had some issues down in the back corner with the trees and things like that, and getting the wagons turned around, but everything's worked out alright in the end. So we're just going to, I don't know if that guy's full now, we have to just wait and see. I just thought we'd cut this little piece out here while we can, keep the tractor down this end of the field, but looks like, figure out where he's going to go. Didn't like me turning this way by the looks of things. But otherwise, now we've got the field all opened up, it should make things a whole lot easier to have them run. In fact, he does look like he's heading away from us, so we'll get this turned off. Let's just go and see if we can catch him before he leaves, and just double check to see how full that tractor is. We should have the simple inspector mod on, that would make things very easy, but yes, 100% full. Okay, alright, well let's let them head off. We are going to head down to the yard, go and check on the other John Deere, because I think that the silage bag is probably just about full, so let's go and have a look. Well, that was good timing. Not quite full. We've got enough for about 28,000 litres, so almost that whole wagon will fit in there, which is good. Hopefully, see that will start unloading, and I'm just going to have to keep an eye on exactly how far that bag's going to go down the other end, because we might keep that in mind once it's full as to where we need to position the bagger for the next one, but we're going to be pretty close to in exactly the right spot to be able to get that whole bag in there without any issues. So pretty much full, and the bag is just starting to touch the bushes down there, so another 1,000 litres, and it should just start to stop filling the bag. There we go, and the last few thousand litres in the wagon will just go in. Actually, there's a capacity in the silage bagger, which is nice. It just transfers it through to the bag, so that should work out that we can get that out of the way, because we're going to have to use the next tractor, which I think I might have just glanced over there by the house, just coming towards the entry through the trees. So when that gets in here, we'll be able to use that one to record the new course. There it is, just there coming through the gap into the yard entry. We'll be able to use that tractor to record the course for bag number 2. And there we go, wagon to empty. So now we've done that, I think if we just press X or disconnect the bagger from the bag, we can drive that forward, and we'll get into position. Now it does show the open end of the maize there, and the idea is now I think we can get in there with a silage fork or something like that on the front of a wheel loader or whatever, and actually go in and pick that up. You just scoop it out of there. There we go. It's already actually fermented too. It is maize silage, so that's not too bad, is it? Can't complain about that. It's speedy fermenting. It's a good way to get our maize silage done quickly. Right, let's just intercept this tractor and stop that, because we need to record that extra course. So bag number 2 is all hooked up, and you can see that the silage we did have in the bagger has transferred. So we're just going to get up here to just past this waypoint, and we will hit record again. Connect those 2 points together, and we can get into a good angle. Make sure we can try and get in a position where we can run along beside the next bag, hopefully without having crashed into it. It should be okay there, I think. Let's see if we can just come up here beside. Hopefully we're still going to have the trigger. We do. There we go. So we just need to go past a little bit. That should do. Create a label there for silage bag number 2, which will become our new waypoint for both tractors. Silage bag 02, there we go. And we'll just drive forward enough that we can send this back around on the course. So there we go. If we just connect that 2 points up, turn that off, pick our new target, and we should be good to go. Press start, and we should see this get around and unload into the second bag. So just getting pulled up here on the auto drive course, and it has detected the trigger there and should be able to start unloading. And it has. And just make sure that our bag's growing. It is. So there we go. That's bag number 2 all set up. So we should, just looking across there, we should have space for at least 5 bags, if not all 6 of them. So that's going to work out pretty well actually. Be a nice little lineup of silage all the way along there. Look at that, the 8410 has to go refuel, so we're not going to be in too much of a rush to get back down to the forager, because we're going to have to wait for that to get there. Well, while we're waiting for everything to get sorted out, we've obviously got nothing to do because that John Deere is on its way to go and get refueled. We're just going to jump here into the truck and actually get another feed mix made up, so just something that needs to be done. Obviously no point sitting around not doing it, so let's just have a look here, try and get some maize silage in. Which is good to see we're getting some more fermenting in the silo there, so we do have a good supply. Now, just need to bring our graphics up, hopefully to get our display back. There it is. So we just need to make sure we're on the right mixture here for this. I can't remember which one we want actually, but let's just bring the menu up and just tab through. We're currently on the beef cattle mixture. I think we were wanting to use not the young stock because they can take maize silage, but they mainly just took grass silage. So I think we might actually just tab through there, set it back up on the realistic mixture, which is the one we've been using the most of the time. So if we just hop out here and have a look, that is our 10% minimum maize, 10% minimum grass, and then we can top up with everything else. Now I did actually have some interesting comments actually, and one thing I hadn't thought of, we could use something like filtered water or molasses to top up our feed. So when we get to that point where we might only be 400 or 500 litres away from being full, we could use some filtered water or some water to top that up. So that was a great suggestion. I haven't got my name in front of me of exactly who that was, but I'll put it up there on the screen and show that comment, and appreciate you coming up with that suggestion. I thought that was quite a good one, so we'll certainly look at doing that. But let's just get this mixture made up. I need to go back and refresh my memory on exactly what ratios we were doing, but we'll get this sorted out, and hopefully by the time we've done that, we'll be able to head back down and start doing some more chopping of the silage. We've got a full feed mixture here in the truck, and we're going to send this on down to the cows at field 203, which are the ones down over the train tracks. I think they are most in need of some food, so we're just going to let them get out of there. Just make sure we can get around here past the pickup. Perfect. Alright. So there we go. We had a few issues with the feed mix actually, just a bit of misinterpretation, but I think I've got things figured out and working pretty well. It's full anyhow, which is the main thing. So let's head on back down. I think the 2 forage boxes are probably waiting for us down at the field, so it's going to get some more corn chopped. As I suspected, both tractors down here, which is fine. Means we can race through and get them both filled up again. So we'll get everything lined up and get underway, and I think we might just jump into a little bit of a time lapse here. We're just going to hang out and drive the forager. We'll just wait for them to come back each time, and we'll just carry on and get this field done. tell you what, I would be lying if I said I wasn't relieved to see the back of this field. It has been a little bit painful trying to get it to all to work. I think I probably made it a little bit harder by driving the forage harvester myself, and lots of downtime. I think it's about 10 minutes between each 2 trips. Then you get a little things like that where the T8 there crashed into the fence, ran into the fence, tried to cut the corner, and decided it couldn't find its way down to the end, and jumping back to the farm and having to redo bags and things like that. But we are almost there, almost finished, and almost done with the silage, and we've got quite a bit. Now, it's been a while since we've been back there, or at least I've shown you how many bags we've got, so we'll get everything all finished off here. We'll get this forage box back to the farm, we'll go and sort the T8 out, and we will get the forage harvester all folded up and take it back for a clean down and wash up and everything like that before we put it away for the winter. But look at that, we've almost gone through a full tank of gas just doing all of this forage harvesting, because I think when we started we topped it up before we went into the first field, and then before we came over here I said, oh, I don't think we need any more, so we left it as was, but we almost threw it into the red. Anyhow, that's us done. There's a couple of stalks here and there, but we're not going to worry too much about that, not going to be too precious. So we get this folded up, we're going to sort these tractors out, and we'll get back over to the yard. Well, we've followed the forage boxes back down here to the yard. We're going to break off here though and go and take care of getting this all cleaned, washed down and everything like that. I'm just trying to decide whether we'll put any diesel in it now. We probably should, but I'm not going to. We'll leave it sitting there rather empty over winter, just so we don't get a whole lot of diesel going stale or anything in it. And when we come and bring it out in the spring again, for probably when we'll be doing our grass silage, then we'll look at getting it filled up and everything like that, maintained. But there we go, look at that, instantly clean, instantly better looking, getting all that green shining through and getting rid of all that mud and dirt. It's done a power of work actually. I'll actually be interested when we hop back in and put it in the shed, exactly how many hours we've managed to put on it. There we go, I think that's looking pretty good to me. Right, we'll get that turned off. Let's jump up and have a look. 7.5 hours total, so what have we done with it? Grass silage, and we've done 2 different lots of corn with it as well. The one this season, and of course the fields we did just about right at the start of the series. So anyhow, let's just wheel it in here, put it back at its home. And here is pretty good. Of course we could have actually used the pressure washer that's here in the shed too. Handy having one all around the place. Right, let's go and have a look at the 2 forage boxes unloading, and we'll go and take a look at exactly how much silage we've ended up with. Well, there we go, that is all our silage in 2 bags, and as you can see there, we've got 3 full bags, 600,000 litres, 200,000 in each, and we've got 146,000 litres here. So we've ended up pretty much with 750,000 litres of silage here in the bags. Of course, we can actually disconnect that, and while we're talking, we'll drive this over and go and park it up in the shed. And about 750,000 litres of silage up in the silo as well. So about 1.5 million litres of silage, maize silage, to go with the, I think, roughly 1.5 million litres of grass silage we had as well. So about 3 million litres all up of silage for our animals, which is good. So it's actually interesting looking across at the shed. Obviously we've got lots of straw, we don't have much hay, so hay is certainly going to be one of our next priorities. We just need to wait for that field behind the feedlots to be full or fully grown and ready to get into and get that harvested. Be good, actually get some hay made out of that. So that is probably going to be one of our next tasks. I'm not sure whether we'll be into that next week or whether we will be putting some manure, some slurry spread onto the fields over the road, and working on the ploughing and tillage and things like that, and getting some fields ready for spring planting. Of course, we're in August, but we are starting to think about what is going to be next for our jobs. Lots of food needing to be made as well. Animals are getting pretty hungry, and we're going to have to spend quite a bit of time here mixing up some feed in the truck and the big feed wagon there, and just going around and getting everything all fed. So we'll probably spend a little bit of time doing that as well. So I think that is going to be a perfect spot with all our maize silage all finished off to wrap up today's episode. I'm just going to spend a few minutes now giving these a wash down, clean up and put them away, and get the tractors freed up so we can start doing some other work next time. So, as always, hope you've enjoyed that episode. Thank you all very much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.